All right, in the last video, we calculated the Euclidean distance between three pairwise observations, and we were calculating the distance based on how frequently they viewed, or the number of views they had of products by two different brands. And now in this next example, we're going to calculate the Manhattan distance. So where the Euclidean distance was based on the squared difference in the value of the variables for two different observations, the Manhattan distance is based on the absolute value of the difference between two values for different variables for two values of a variable for two separate observations. We can extend this to a multivariable case, but we've got two variables. So to calculate the Manhattan distance, I'm going to set up a box that's going to be very similar to this. Manhattan, and this is going to be the absolute value. I'm just going to call it the absolute difference with regard to x1, and then this is the absolute difference with regard to x2. And then in this box here, I will have the Manhattan distance. And I'm going to do the same thing, the three pairwise observations. How close are variables, how close are observations 1 and 2, how close are observations 1 and 3, and how close are observations 2 and 3. So while Euclidean distance calculated the distance between two observations as sort of by where the crow flies, by calculating the hypotenuse, c squared equals a squared plus b squared, this is basically c squared, remember Pythagorean theorem. Manhattan distance, that term comes from walking the streets of New York, where if you want to get from person 1 to person 3, you can't fly like a crow, you've got to walk a certain number of blocks. And then you've got to walk another number of blocks. So it's the right angle. It's the distance in units that form that right angle, like you're walking on a city street. We take the absolute value, same thing, so that it doesn't matter whether we do 3 minus 1 or 1 minus 3, the answer is the same. So if we take a look first between person 1 and person 2, with regard to how often they looked at Patagonia products or the number of Patagonia products they looked at, we use the absolute value function and we say 7 minus 6, right? There's a difference of one view. And with regard to looking at North Face products, it's also a difference of one view. But we use the absolute value function so that it doesn't matter whether we do 1 minus 2 or 2 minus 1. And then the Manhattan distance, pardon me, is just equal to the sum of those two things. With regard to the difference between customers 1 and 3, person 1 viewed 7 Patagonia products, person 3 viewed 2. So we've got an absolute distance of 5. And with regard to North Face products, person 1 viewed 5, person 3 viewed 1. So we've got a distance of 4 units. And that makes sense here. When it comes to X1, which is Patagonia, we would have to travel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then with North Face, we'd have to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So the total Manhattan distance is just going to be a sum of those two values. Nine. With regards to units 2 and 3, sorry, we have concrete pouring outside. That's that noise you're hearing. Concrete is a very high tension thing because once it's solid, it's solid. So there's 8 or 10 people in our yard scrambling to get concrete right, and sometimes it's a little loud. So with regards to person 2 and 3, Person 2 viewed 6 Patagonia products. Person 3 viewed 2. Got an absolute value distance of 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And with regard to North Face, the difference is absolute value of 4 minus 1. 1, 2, 3. We'd add those together, and that's our Manhattan distance. So we can see that the Euclidean distance and the Manhattan distance give us different numbers because the way they measure distance, but the ranking is still the same. 1 and 2 are the most similar pair. 1 and 3 have the greatest distance between them, and 2 and 3 are closer to each other than 1 is to 3, but you get the idea. So that is how we measure similarity. And so if we extend this to the multivariable case and we try to group individuals together by consumer behavior, psychographics, lifestyle, we would try to find clusters, groups where people are relatively the same. And then we would then define those as market segments. Okay. All right. Thank you. Let me know if you have any questions, and good luck on your prep work this week.